You did not pause here for nothing. Something in you felt this before your mind could name it. Before logic spoke, your spirit leaned closer. That matters. Out of all the noise, all the scrolling, all the voices asking for your attention, you stopped here. You stayed, and that small choice may mean more than you think. Because some messages do not enter your life by chance. They arrive when your heart is tired of pretending it feels nothing. They arrive when your soul is quietly asking for a sign, even if your lips never say the words out loud. So stay with me for a moment, because what you hear next may touch a place in you that has been silent for too long. You are not here to be entertained. You are here because a shift is already starting. Something old is losing its hold on you. Something new is moving in softly, step by step, breath by breath. And yes, this is about love, but not the kind that confuses you, drains you, or makes you beg to be chosen. This is about a different kind of closeness, a different kind of connection, one that feels calm, one that feels clean, one that does not ask you to become someone else just to keep it alive. Keep watching, because the next part may explain why your heart has felt so restless lately. There is a reason for that feeling. There is a reason this moment feels strangely personal. And there is a reason life is bringing this message to you now, when something inside you is finally ready to hear it. At this point in your life, a quiet chapter is coming to an end, even if the outer world still looks the same. Something within you is changing first. That is how real change begins. Not with noise, not with drama, but with a small inner turning, a soft shift in the way you feel, the way you notice, the way you carry your own energy. For a long time, you may have been living with emotional weight that nobody fully saw. You smiled. You kept going. You handled what had to be handled. But deep down, there were days when your heart felt tired in ways you could not explain. There were moments when you looked fine to everyone else, yet inside you felt far away from yourself. None of that was missed. None of it was meaningless. The quiet strength you showed when you were hurting mattered. The nights you stayed strong in silence mattered. The hope you held on to, even in a weak and shaking way, mattered. And now life is beginning to answer that silent endurance with something softer, something warmer, something real, not fantasy, not empty comfort, something that has weight, direction, and truth behind it. You may not fully see it yet, but your emotional path is not standing still anymore. It is moving. Slowly, yes, but clearly. So if something in you feels calmer while hearing this, if your chest feels a little lighter, if your thoughts slow down, even for a moment, pay attention. That reaction is not random. Your deeper self knows when something is speaking directly to it. And this message is not here to control your choices. It is here to wake up a truth you may already feel. Love is moving closer to you, but not in the old form that left you confused. Not the kind that made you question your worth. Not the kind that kept you waiting for clarity while giving you only mixed signals and half-hearted effort. This is different. This love carries peace instead of pressure. It does not make you chase it. It does not ask you to prove why you deserve care. It does not keep you guessing. It sees you, and it sees you without needing you to shrink, perform, or hide the tender parts of yourself. There is a calmness around it, a steadiness, a quiet honesty that feels rare in a world full of noise and emotional games. And yes, this connection may come through someone younger than you expected. Someone with a lighter presence but a sincere heart. Someone whose age may surprise you, yet whose energy feels grounded in a way that makes your heart feel safe instead of cautious. Do not rush past that part. Sometimes what is meant for you does not arrive in the package you once imagined. Sometimes the person who brings healing into your life looks nothing like the pattern you used to chase. Stay with this, because that detail matters. This younger soul may enter your world with openness, warmth, and a kind of emotional truth that feels easy to trust. Not because they are perfect, they are not, but because they are real. They are learning too. They have their own scars, their own disappointments, their own moments of deep confusion. Yet something in them is becoming ready. And something in you is becoming ready to receive what is no longer built on struggle. You are being asked gently to open again, not all at once, not in a reckless way, not in a way that ignores your past, but in a wiser way, a softer way, a way that lets hope breathe without fear shutting it down the second it appears. This matters more than you think, because for a long time, your heart may have learned to protect itself by expecting disappointment first. You may have gotten used to preparing for distance, for misunderstanding, for the moment when care fades and confusion enters. You may have started believing that guarding yourself was the only safe choice. And for a season, maybe it was. But you are not meant to stay locked in survival forever. You are not meant to live with your heart closed so tightly that even good things cannot find their way in. The message here is simple. You are allowed to believe that something better exists. You are allowed to think that a healthy bond is possible for you too. You are allowed to move away from old emotional patterns that taught you to settle for less than your soul needed. And if part of you resists this, that is okay. Resistance does not mean the message is false. It often means the wound is deep. So take your time. Breathe here. Let this truth reach you slowly. Because what is approaching is not coming to break you open with chaos. It is coming to meet you in a calmer place. It is coming to show you that love can be steady and still be strong. Keep listening, because the next part may explain why your past had to unfold the way it did, even when it made no sense at the time. You are not incomplete, and that must be understood clearly. The love coming toward you is not arriving to finish you, save you, or repair some missing part inside you. You were never missing. You were never less valuable because someone failed to recognize your depth. You were never broken because certain people could not hold your heart with care. What is coming is not a rescue. It is a meeting. A meeting between who you already are and someone who knows how to honor that without trying to control it. For too long, you may have tied your worth to someone else's attention. Maybe you tried to earn love by being more patient, more understanding, more available, more forgiving than you should have been. Maybe you accepted less because you were still learning how much you truly deserved. That happens. It does not make you weak. It makes you human. But that season is ending. You are no longer in the same emotional place. A stronger awareness is growing in you now. You are learning that real love does not ask you to abandon yourself just to keep a connection alive. It does not reward your silence while your needs go unmet. It does not make you smaller so the other person can stay comfortable. The next chapter forming around you holds a different energy. It is built on mutual respect. It is built on emotional safety. It is built on the kind of presence that does not make you feel lonely while standing right beside someone. And that alone changes everything. Because when you finally meet a bond that feels clean, you stop mistaking intensity for truth. You stop calling confusion passion. You stop chasing what drains you, and you begin to recognize peace as the deeper form of love. This person may already be closer than you realize. That is what makes it even more powerful. They may exist on the edge of your world right now, unnoticed, unclaimed by your expectations, not yet fully seen by the part of you that still looks for old familiar patterns. They might be someone you passed by without thinking twice, someone who seemed too simple, too quiet, too different from what you once believed you wanted. Or perhaps they have not entered your path yet in a visible way, and their life is still slowly moving toward yours through choices, timing, and moments neither of you can currently understand. Either way, the alignment has already begun. When this connection becomes clear, it will not arrive like emotional chaos. It will not explode into your life and leave you dizzy. It will feel steady. Conversation will feel natural. Silence will not feel heavy. You will notice an ease in their presence that is hard to fake. Around them, you may feel less need to edit yourself, less need to protect every word, less pressure to appear stronger than you are. And that softness will tell you something important. It will tell you that your nervous system recognizes peace even before your mind fully trusts it. Watch that closely when it happens, because not every powerful connection begins with fireworks. Some begin with relief, some begin with stillness. Some begin with the strange and beautiful feeling that you do not need to be anyone else in order to be received. And if that kind of moment enters your life soon, do not dismiss it just because it is calm. Sometimes calm is the sign you have been waiting for. There is also something about timing that your heart needs to hear. What is meant for you does not come too early, and it does not truly pass you by. It reaches you when your inner world can hold it without turning it into fear, panic, or self-sabotage. That is why some things had to be delayed. That is why some doors stayed closed. That is why certain people could not stay, no matter how much you wanted them to. It was not always punishment. Sometimes it was protection. Sometimes life was teaching you how to tell the difference between attachment and alignment, between longing and truth, between what feels urgent and what is actually right. The connection approaching you is not meant to pull you back into emotional confusion. It is not here to disturb your peace. It is here to support your life, not consume it. It is here to add warmth, not drain your energy. And when it begins to show itself, you may feel something quiet and immediate, almost like recognition without explanation. Not a loud sign, not some dramatic revelation. Just a calm inner knowing, a soft yes, a sense that your heart has met something familiar in a way your mind cannot yet fully describe. That feeling matters. Do not ignore it, because your deeper self often knows safety before your thoughts catch up. And yes, doubts may still appear. Old fears may whisper. Past memories may try to protect you by warning you against being open. But underneath all of that, the deeper sense will remain. Still, present, unmoved. If you have ever wondered whether love can feel both exciting and peaceful at the same time, the answer is yes. And what is moving toward you may be the first real proof of that. This connection will not be flawless because no real bond is, but it will be honest, and that changes everything. You will not feel like you are constantly trying to decode your place in it. You will not feel like affection appears one day and disappears the next. You will not feel punished for being sensitive, thoughtful, or deeply feeling. Instead, there will be room. Room for truth. Room for human moments. Room for mistakes that are met with conversation instead of cruelty. That kind of emotional space is rare, and it does not always announce itself in loud ways. Often it appears in small details. In how someone listens when you speak. In how they respond when you are quiet. In how they stay the same person on ordinary days, not only when it is easy or exciting. And something else will happen around this person. You may start to feel more like yourself again. Not the guarded version built from disappointments, but the open version that still lives beneath all that armor. You may laugh more freely. You may think more clearly. You may stop overreading every silence. Creative thoughts may return. Small dreams that went quiet may begin to wake up again. It will not happen overnight. It will happen gently, like light entering a room at sunrise. A gradual return, a quiet remembering, and that is important, because the right person does not erase your life or take over your identity. They create a space where your own hidden parts feel safe enough to come back to the surface. In that way, they do not complete you. They simply make it easier for you to reconnect with what fear once covered. And that may be one of the greatest gifts this love brings. You will also bring something powerful into this bond. Do not forget that. This is not only about what comes to you. It is also about what lives in you now, what you have earned through pain, patience, and growth. Your presence carries grounding. Your heart carries understanding. You know what it means to feel unseen, and because of that, you will know how to truly see someone else. You know what emotional neglect feels like, and because of that, you will understand the importance of gentle care, honest words, and a safe silence. There will be moments when the other person feels uncertain, and your steadiness will matter. There will be moments when they do not have the right words, and your patience will matter. Not because you are there to fix them, but because your energy will naturally create room for truth to breathe. And that is rare, very rare. In this connection, support will not feel like a trade. It will not feel like someone keeping score. It will feel balanced. On some days, one of you may need more comfort. On other days, the roles may shift. But underneath it all, there will be willingness. A shared effort, a shared care. A quiet decision to keep showing up, not only when things feel magical, but also when life feels plain, messy, or unclear. That is where real love grows, not only in intense moments, but in ordinary ones, in repeated kindness, in safe honesty, in choosing understanding over assumption. If this part speaks to you, hold on to it, because many people search for excitement and miss the deeper miracle of consistency. But consistency, when it is real, becomes one of the strongest forms of devotion. Nothing you lived through was wasted. Every disappointment taught you something, even when the lesson came wrapped in pain. Every false start, every goodbye, every lonely season, every time you sat in silence asking why things were not working out, all of it shaped your awareness. Some experiences taught you boundaries. Some taught you self-respect. Some taught you the cost of ignoring your own intuition. Some taught you that chemistry is not enough and that attention is not the same as care. At times, it may have felt like you were repeating the same emotional story with different faces. But even in that cycle, you were not standing still. You were learning. You were becoming clearer. You were slowly reaching the point where your soul could finally say, enough. Enough confusion. Enough emotional guessing. Enough shrinking. Enough waiting for others to become who they clearly were not ready to be. That clarity matters now because it prepares you to recognize what is healthier when it arrives. You may still carry sadness from the past, and that is okay. Healing is not always neat, but sadness does not mean you are blocked. It does not mean love cannot reach you. It simply means you have felt deeply. And those who feel deeply are often the very ones who can recognize a true connection when it appears, because they know the difference between what only shines on the surface and what actually carries depth. So if you ever thought your past disqualified you from receiving something beautiful, release that idea now. Your past did not disqualify you. It prepared you. It refined your heart. It strengthened your discernment. It taught you what peace is worth. Love does not follow a strict clock. It does not care about the age people expect, the timeline others celebrate, or the fear that tells you it should have happened by now. Real connection moves by readiness, by truth, by alignment that cannot always be seen ahead of time. That is why you must not measure your future by your delays. A slower path is not an empty one. A quiet season is not a cursed one. There are things being arranged for you that could only come together through patience, through growth, through the long hidden work of becoming emotionally ready for what is real. As long as your heart remains open, even in a small way, love is not closed to you. It does not ask you to be perfect before it arrives. It asks for honesty. It asks for presence. It asks that when something genuine appears, you do not run from it simply because it does not look like the pain you got used to. That may be one of the biggest shifts of all. Learning not to reject peace because chaos once felt more familiar. Learning not to distrust calm simply because it is new. The truth is, what you have quietly hoped for is not as far away as it seemed in your hardest moments. It is drawing nearer through people, timing, and situations that are already moving into place. Some of the pieces may still look ordinary now, but later, when you look back, you will see that nothing was random. Not the pause, not the delay, not the conversation, not even the moment that led you here. If this is reaching you deeply, stay to the end, because the final part may be the reminder your heart needs most right now. There will come a moment, maybe sooner than you expect, when you feel the truth of this message in a real and personal way. It may happen in a simple scene, a normal conversation, a quiet glance, a calm exchange that carries more meaning than loud displays ever could. And in that moment, something inside you may loosen. A pressure you have carried for years may begin to lift. You may realize that love was never meant to feel like constant tension. It was never meant to leave you starving for reassurance. It was never meant to make you feel chosen only in fragments. What is coming will not solve every problem in your life, but it may remind you that your life was never meant to be lived in emotional drought. It may remind you that tenderness is not weakness, that stability is not boring, that a soft heart, when protected by wisdom, is still one of the most powerful things you can carry. And as this connection grows, you may notice another change. You may become softer with yourself, less self-critical, less willing to speak to your own soul in the harsh tone the past taught you to use. Because when you are seen clearly by the right eyes, you often begin to see yourself more clearly too. That is part of the gift. Not losing yourself in love, but finding a calmer relationship with yourself through the safety of being honestly received. So when the younger soul enters fully or steps out from the edge of your awareness and becomes real, do not focus first on fear. Notice the calm. Notice the ease. Notice the strange sense that your heart is not fighting to survive in their presence. That is not small. That is the sign. And right now, before anything fully appears, your task is simple. Stay open. Stay honest. Stay kind to yourself in the waiting. You do not need to force the future. You do not need to chase every sign or turn every passing moment into a prediction. Let life unfold. Let your inner world make room. Let your old pain leave without dragging it into every new possibility. Talk to yourself with more care. Protect your peace, but do not worship your walls. Trust your instincts, but do not let fear wear their clothes. What is on the way is not coming to test your worth. It is coming to meet it. It is coming to stand beside the version of you that has survived so much, learned so much, and still somehow kept the ability to hope. That matters. More than you know. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not too late for the kind of connection that feels true, grounded, and deeply healing. Even now, the direction is already changing. Even now, unseen threads are moving. Even now, life is shaping an encounter, a closeness, a chapter that will make more sense later than it does today. So breathe, receive this, let it settle. And remember this final truth. The love coming toward you is not loud because it does not need to be. It is strong because it is steady. It is deep because it is honest. It is beautiful because it does not ask you to become less in order to be loved more. And when it reaches you, it will not feel like losing yourself. It will feel like finally coming home to a gentler, clearer, more alive version of who you have been becoming all along.